It's great having you clearly on the Coach's Corner. This has been a fun conversation. I'd love to
So
dive,
fun.
dive in a little deeper into, the platform you've created. You call it Heal, but what does that stand for, and what are you actually doing out in the world with the people you're working with?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, we're all healing in some sort of capacity, right? It could be emotionally, spiritually, physically, situationally. There's always something that we're healing at the end of the day. And when we heal, when you allow yourself to heal from a high energetic place, that's when you start to draw in the abundance into your life. And so it's super important. And it all starts with awareness. So, having that awareness of, okay, how am I feeling? Check in with yourself. I always say, like, you have to feel it to heal it. So understand, what are your emotions that are going on inside, like inside your being, inside your body. How are you feeling? And be honest with yourself. I think sometimes, we have a hard time being honest with ourselves, and we try to cover it up, and then we shove it down, and
Yeah.
then it becomes like a ticking time bomb. And then, who knows what happens, right? And that's when we create those events in our life when we look back and we're like, ugh, did I really want to do that? Right. And so that's why when I work with my clients, it's really important to understand, like, take stock of, where are you right now? Where are you energetically? So I actually have an assessment that measures the amount of energy that shows up day in and day out
Yeah.
at, in your being. And so when you start to understand, like, hey, where's some of your, you've got great energy here and this and these different elements, but you've got some trapped energy here. And like, literally, people will think I'm looking in a crystal ball when we do these assessments and these debriefs, because they're like, how in the world did you know that? Well, it's the energy. The energy shows this. And so, but once you draw awareness to it, you have awareness to that energy, you open the floodgates for the awesome sauce, the
Yeah.
abundance into your life. It's incredible. It's pure
I love
magic.
it. There's so many like spark plugs that are going on in my head because this connects with so many other things I've been digging into and talking about for myself
Yeah.
personally recently. And so maybe I'll ask that question. Like, people get the awareness. What,
Mhm.
say somebody out there is in that capacity. They're aware that their energy is not necessarily where it should be. So what could you prescribe for somebody maybe listening to this, like a little tidbit takeaway for them? And then maybe how do you work with people around getting from awareness to shifting the energy?
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to, again, like I said, you take stock of where you are. So you have that awareness, right? And then pause, right? And then step back. Look at it from a different perspective, right? There's true and then there's truth. TRUTH. True is like, so you and I could experience the same situation, right? And it could be definitely be true for you. It's true for me, but maybe they're very different perspectives, right? We could have different viewpoints of the same situation. And then
Right.
there's like universal truth, right? Like, okay, the world is round, right? We know that that's a universal truth. So are we, what we're looking at, is that true or is that truth, right? And only you can tell, only you will know that within yourself. And so understanding where you are, right? Having that awareness, and then you got to have a little bit of courage. And I think the courage is to overcome that thought, overcome that feeling. And oftentimes it's harder to do on your own. You need a coach. You need a coach. I have multiple coaches,
Yeah.
and I coach people. So it's so important to have other people in your life that are playing the game of life at a higher level than you, right? That can give you that perspective and that experience. And I think that's why, you know, it's one thing to just have that awareness, but it's another to go another level deeper, a level deeper, and
Yeah.
really integrate that into, understanding, like, okay, what is the feeling associated with, right? What we focus on is how we feel, right? And so understanding how we feel is a beautiful indicator, right, of like how we can just shift our focus, right? But at the same time, in order to heal it, you have to acknowledge it.
Right.
You have to acknowledge the anger, the anxiousness, the frustration, all of the negative feelings or emotions that we don't necessarily want to address, but we have to address that, because it's part of us, and it's just looking for a way out.
Yeah, so if I'm hearing you first, clearly it's awareness. Let's get aware with
Yeah,
where we're at. In those
yeah,
moments, you're also taking a little bit of a pause, step
yeah.
back, say,
Take
like,
a breath.
this
Take a
is,
breath.
yeah, this is where I'm at. And then, all right, what are we going to do? How are we going to press through this? And sometimes that requires a little help from a
Yeah,
coach or someone else. It's funny, and the only reason I want to plug this little thing is earlier today, as I'm working on a TEDx, it's might be the title. I'm looking at my title, but who's in your corner? And maybe the theme here is, sometimes a coach it's good to have in your corner, and it's good to have Katie in your corner. And you're in my corner right now because this is the coach's corner. Sorry for all the puns, everyone.
oh my God, I love it. I love it. Not intended.
Yeah. And maybe just to clarify, Katie, I know you work with a lot of people. Is there anybody watching right now? Who's your sweet spot, or who are you looking to meet, connect with, and who would be the ideal person to be reaching out to you?
Yeah. If you're feeling alone, if you're feeling alone and you recognize that you have something bigger and greater inside of you, which we all do, but if you're feeling alone and you're not really sure which steps to take or where you want to go, but you do have this inner knowing that you want something more for yourself. I like I said, I work with a lot of people that have gone through soul crushing breakups, that have literally devalued themselves to the point where they've stayed in relationships that are not serving them because they've lost the love for themselves. If you've lost the love for yourself, call me. Like, let's connect. Because
Yeah,
when you lose your love for yourself, it does feel very isolating and alone. But when you find that love within yourself, that is where the magic happens.
I love it. And that was a theme to our earlier conversation as we've progressed is that magic. And I'll just share with everybody out there. I actually don't know Katie that well. We've met on probably 3 or 4 occasions, and what I can say is that her energy, her warmth, her love has always been something that I'd say, and this is to you, Katie, because I've actually never said this to you, and even in this conversation, it shines through. So if what Katie just said like resonates with you, I highly recommend getting in touch,
Thanks.
having a conversation. And Katie, from my heart to yours, this has been a beautiful conversation, and I'm glad we'll be connecting over the next few days, serving others
Yeah.
under Tony's umbrella.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I love what you're doing. And I'm just beyond grateful to be a part of it.
So good to see you at the coach's corner, and I'm sure we'll see each other soon.
Sounds good. Mwah!
Thanks, Katie.
Bye.